Hi there everyone, welcome to another informative edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson. So happy you're on board for this inspiring half-hour journey. Christmas celebration has passed and the new year is just around the corner. So today we'll help you plan for the year ahead as we explore how to be more productive and financially secure. Sit back and relax for a full slate of exciting features unfolding right after this important message.
This Christmas, choose life. As we recover from Hurricane Melissa's devastation, we're reminded that life is fragile. Pedestrians, stay alert. Drivers, slow down. Rest if you're tired, and never drink and drive. One careless decision can change a family forever. Let's have a safe and prayerful Christmas and a crash-free 2026.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry and this is your JIS News for Monday, December 29, 2025. Cabinet has approved the procurement of more than 1,000 body-worn cameras for the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness says this purchase is the first in a series with additional body-worn cameras to follow. Dr. Holness clarifies that while the body cam technology is fairly standard, it is also sophisticated and requires an ecosystem to work as intended.
So it's not just cameras, it is also storage, archival for retrieval. It has to be up to a certain standard that what is stored reaches evidentiary levels.
The Prime Minister assures that the build-out is underway and that the JCF will be equipped with sufficient body-worn cameras to ensure transparency and accountability in police-citizen interactions.
There has to be a system of how these cameras are maintained should there be failure. And then there is a whole business of putting in place the fiber optic connections, because where you download physically, the footage is not where you're going to store it. So it has to be transmitted and you have to make sure that you have that connection. So there's a lot to be built out before you can deploy body-worn cameras.
Meanwhile, the government is assuring that human rights training has been mainstreamed into the core operation and leadership culture of the security forces to guide interactions with citizens. Minister of Defense and Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness says both the Jamaica Constabulary Force and the Jamaica Defense Force have undergone training and have been protecting lives, including that of criminals. He asserts that while there is talk about an increase in the number of police killings, it must never be said that our police force is the most lethal.
That's not the kind of police force that we are trying to create. But I believe that on the other side of the ledger, on the other side of the argument, we must also be concerned about the propensity of criminals to challenge the police. As I have said earlier, we have invested heavily in our police force to make them more effective. And the Jamaican state must never be at threat or at risk of criminals. If criminals challenge the state, they must not win.
The Prime Minister underscores that police officers must return safely to their families, adding that while concerns exist, systems have been implemented internally at the leadership level. He adds that the government continues to support the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDECOM, and its operations.
We encourage the internal review and use of force policy in the JCF. When we meet in the National Security Council, these are matters that are discussed because we want our police force to, more than anything else, serve, protect, and preserve life. This is also a message to the criminals. Save your life, don't challenge the police.
Rehabilitation and construction work will begin on a number of bridges early in the new year. This as the concept stage of the Accelerated Rural Bridge Development Program was recently completed at the Public Investment Management Committee, PIMSEC. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness and Works Minister Robert Morgan gave the update while touring the Oaks Bridge in Clarendon recently. Minister Morgan reveals that 20 of the 55 bridges slated for upgrade under the program are in areas devastated by Hurricane Melissa,
which is in Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, St. James, Trelawney and Hanover. St. James having 10, which is the largest amount.
Dr. Holness says the bridge program is another example of government's commitment to ridding the country of old and inferior structures, particularly at this time when weather conditions are more uncertain.
When we speak about ensuring that we have a strong economy, this is one of the reasons. You can only maintain what you have the resources to do. We are shifting now from this mindset of building something and believing that it will last forever. All right? And that is not a development mindset. That's a short-term mindset. So what we're going to be doing now is that everything that we build, we will automatically have a budget for its maintenance.
Governor of the Bank of Jamaica, Richard Biles, says controlling inflation in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa remains a top priority for the central bank. The country has already recorded sharp price increases, with further rises expected in the coming months due to significant losses in productive capacity caused by the hurricane. Speaking at the BOJ's recent quarterly monetary policy press conference, Governor Biles said the bank remained committed to limiting the inflationary impact and, if necessary, will prioritize this over economic growth.
We can't have a recovery without hurting a lot of people if inflation gets up into double digits and stays up there for a prolonged period of time. So the balance and the choice that we have to make is this. Given that if inflation gets out of hand and becomes more difficult to bring down, and that it affects the poor in this country and the most vulnerable, would we put as secondary the issue of economic growth and focus on inflation targeted? And the decision is yes, we will put the inflation targeting as our primary mandate.
Inflation is expected to rise above the BOJ's 4 to 6% target and remain elevated for at least 18 months. While the central bank is working to tame that, Mr. Biles says economic recovery will be supported by external assistance and insurance payouts, which are expected to provide a major boost to growth as reconstruction efforts get underway.
A lot of that impulse is going to come from the flows of assistance that we are getting from abroad, as well as insurance flows to the private sector and to the public sector. So we are going to have to digest, implement all the projects that have been are going to be funded by these flows. And that's a tremendous impulse to growth in the economy.
And finally, the Ministry of Health and Wellness is inviting researchers to submit proposals to be considered under the Research for Wellness Fund. Universities, researchers, clinicians, and community leaders can submit research proposals for Tier 1 and Tier 2 studies by March 31, 2026. Areas of focus include wellness in workplaces, schools, homes, communities, and among persons living with non-communicable diseases, NCDs, risk factors, as well as mental and maternal health. The Research for Wellness Fund of $50 million is financed by the National Health Fund, NHF, and this is the second round of call for proposals being made by the ministry. It will cover applied research of $20 million at Tier 1 and $5 million at Tier 2 based on competitive proposals. For additional information, interested members of the public may contact the Essential National Health Research Committee, ENHRC Secretariat, via email or telephone. Details on the 2025 grant can be viewed online. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Before you brighten your home this Christmas, take 1 minute to check your lights. Look for frayed wires, broken bulbs, and damaged plugs. If it not looks safe, throw it away. And remember, never overload your outlets. One socket, one plug at a time. This Christmas, protect your family.
A key metric for success, whether personally or in the corporate world, is high productivity. There are several factors involved in making this happen, which we will explore in this next feature.
The Ministry of Labour and Social Security through the Jamaica Productivity Centre, JPC, has been developing and implementing programs as well as conducting workshops to assist individuals, companies and firms optimize their efficiency and drive productivity improvement in Jamaica. The JPC recently hosted a virtual session that brought accomplished individuals and high achievers in one setting to share needed information on how productivity can be achieved and its impact on society. Productivity, in simple terms, is how efficient an input is converted to output. When this happens, economic growth and the country's development is fueled because of the increased goods and services produced with greater efficiency. Businesses will realize higher profit as they produce more outputs from lower input due to the systems they implement. Their competitiveness will improve and they will be able to better compensate employees. Citizens will realize improvements in their standard of living and will be able to exercise higher levels of consumption of goods and services even with reduced working hours. Higher economic growth measured by increased gross domestic product (GDP) output resulting from an increase in productivity will also benefit the country. How? Through the generation of larger tax revenue for government. This allows for greater investments in infrastructure and services, including education, healthcare, welfare, transportation, roads, water, and more. Gross domestic product (GDP) is the sum of labor productivity, capital intensity growth, and total factor productivity. Therefore, increases in all three areas equate to us having a booming economy. JPC has found that there are several factors that hamper productivity that need to be treated with urgency. They include bureaucracy, low value-added production, crime, traffic congestion, lack of suitable technology and capital investment, as well as job and skill mismatch and limiting international trade flows. As it relates to labor productivity, the JPC recommends that companies and firms, public or private, small or large, research what is happening in their industry and make innovative changes on a consistent basis. Where enterprises are shifting from being more labor-intensive to technology, such as artificial intelligence, they must seek to create the right balance between human effort and technology to optimize productivity. Integrating the right technology and a smart business process that is measurable, result-based and time-based is now an essential part of the solution for firms to optimize productivity. This includes establishing customer service platforms and payment gateways that are responsive. Every worker needs to know what is required of them, with the worker and supervisor using verifiable established targets.
You cannot improve if you're not measuring. You won't know what to do, and we'll just be all based on a gut feeling. And so that's one of the things we want to encourage us, even as individuals, organizations, to have that culture or habit of measuring and measuring what matters, right? And not just measuring everything, but measuring what matters and working to improve on those gaps that exist.
The Labour and Social Security Ministry through the Jamaica Productivity Centre has started its very own modernization exercise through the institution of a digital records management system, moving a number of its services online as it upgrades its network and investing in new technologies to improve efficiency. Investing in research and development and facilitating the creative, scientific and technological expertise of Jamaicans will spur innovation and the creation of new products and services to transform industries to meet the demands of the fourth industrial revolution.
For example, we have agriculture. Agriculture could be transformed to an high-level agricultural sector. And I'm thinking also with that, there can also be greater linkages between the goods producing and service producing sector.
Enhancing productivity, quality, and competitiveness through world-class individuals will require a culture of continuous training.
We have to learn how to accept or create structures that allow innovation, allow change, to build a culture of continuous learning and improvement. Let us start with access to broadband. Broadband can give us that quantum leap forward in Jamaica. Tied with a digital literacy program for people of all ages, tied with schools that focus on continuous learning and continuous improvement.
We need higher education and more focused training programs, upskilling the global services industry. So that's basically like the BPO.
There's the possibility for individuals to use the internet and free education available online to advance productivity and for maximizing on remote working in this increasingly digital world.
Working on your own individual digital literacy, being familiar with the tools that are out there, not just for consumption, but what the possibilities are. And there's so many resources online that you can find to do that. Coursera, Udemy, and these are their platforms in their own right. Another one too that's really good, because I find that the things on Coursera and Udemy tend to maybe work best if you've already completed high school and university. If you need to bring your math skills up to date, you can use a resource like Khan Academy.
Increased education and training, certification, quality management and leadership, rewards and incentives, innovation, having the right technology, automation and tools, and using those to full capacity are all key tenets of long-term productivity. Of course, all this doesn't necessarily mean working harder. Instead, it's all about working smarter.
The shadows of October 28, 2025 still linger, the aftermath of Category 5 Hurricane Melissa. The powerful system made landfall in Jamaica, leaving a trail of devastation across the island. While every parish felt its force, the western end bore the brunt of the storm. Many residents are still without homes, vital infrastructure has been wiped out, and communities are struggling to rebuild. As a nation, we're all picking up the pieces together. Let us continue to stand united and support recovery efforts by donating through the country's official disaster relief and recovery portal at supportjamaica.gov.jm.
Cancer, stress, high blood pressure. Guard yourself against these potentially deadly conditions by eating healthy. Give your body long life with foods such as low-fat milk, dried and fresh peas and beans, unsalted nuts and seeds, fresh vegetables, fruits, and coconut water, and eliminate processed seasonings such as seasoning salt, soy sauces, and ketchup. When it comes to meats, remember to remove the skin to reduce the intake of fats and oils. Meats should also be baked, steamed, grilled, or roasted. Fish is also a preferred protein option. To eat healthy, fill your body with a variety of foods from all the food groups. And remember, eat at a slow pace and in small bites to help aid digestion. This helps to maintain a healthy, balanced, and nutritious diet, strengthening your body to ward off illness and prolong life.
Much of the island's forest cover has been disturbed by Hurricane Melissa. On top of that, there's the yearly harvest for economic purposes. But as we cut down trees, we must replant to prevent a net loss of forest cover. In our next feature, we're looking at how vital trees are to sustaining life and how we can preserve the many economic and life-saving benefits.
Trees are often considered the lungs of the earth. As part of their life cycle, they take in carbon dioxide and release oxygen into the atmosphere. Let's all continue this necessary part of keeping our planet healthy by planting more trees. And here's how you do it. First things first, decide what tree you will be planting. Is it one that will provide timber? Shade? Will it beautify your space or will you be eating its fruits? Once that's settled, you need to consider what kind of conditions it would need to grow. Naturally, some plants do better in some areas than others, while others need full exposure to sunlight versus those that can survive without direct light. And there's also the soil type to consider. Some trees thrive near seasides. Others prefer mountain areas, while certain trees are content in the valleys. Next up, space. Some trees grow wide, others tall. While you may be able to prune trees to keep them under control, some lose their essence when tamed. So, be sure to plant large trees in areas where they will have adequate space to grow. If you have a smaller space, consider growing a smaller tree that requires less pruning to keep it in check. Then there's the matter of your fully grown tree posing a threat to nearby structures. As a country situated in the hurricane belt, downed trees during times of disaster is a part of our reality. There's also the pesky issue of trees which shed their leaves profusely, and others with copious amounts of flowers and fruits, which might just be the cause of a dispute with your neighbor if planted near the fence. That being said, be sure to plant trees at a safe distance from walls, power lines, fences, sidewalks, and the very foundation of your house. Once you've considered all those tips, it's time to plant.
First step is to dig a hole, right? Not too deep, about a foot and a half, not too wide either, because you're not burying the plant. You're trying to provide a nice area for it to grow, right? Upon digging your hole, if you notice that the soil type is clay, that is the kind of coarse soil type, you'd probably need topsoil, right? Because when you're putting back the soil, it's going to be a challenge for you. But after that, you dampen the soil, ensure that it's moist, provide a moist area or environment for the plant to be planted in. Ensure the plant is in the center of the hole. If you dig the hole a bit too deep, there's a process known as backfilling, right? That's when you put back the dirt into the soil to a certain height that is much favorable for you and for the plant. After you do that, you want to dampen the soil, right? Ensure the plant is in the center, because you end up having a plant to grow lean or to the side, because plants grow into the direction of the sunlight. Ensure that the soil goes up to the root collar. Now the root collar is where the stem and the root of the plant or the root plug meet, right? You don't want to go above that. Once you do finish that, you water it, then you stake it. When I say stake, you take either a bamboo stake or a regular stake, put a flagging tape beside onto it and put it beside the plant. That is you marking the plant. So once you're doing any maintenance, you yourself or any other individual in the area can know that, hey, there's something planted there, so you don't end up wasting your effort and time when planting. The most important thing is watering after and nurturing the plants. So you water early mornings and late evenings. If you water in between those times, especially in the afternoons, the plant will end up struggling with the intake of the water, right? Because the sun is going to be evaporating at the same time it's trying to take in the nutrients. You can also mulch, fertilize, or add kaya dust or sawdust to the mound to help lock in moisture for the plant.
And there you have it, a step-by-step demonstration of how to plant a tree. Call 876-618-3205 or visit 173 Constant Spring Road to get your plant seedlings. Happy planting!
He's your ray of sunshine, always bounding with energy and a wagging tail, with a fur so soft it feels like a blanket. And don't forget her emerald green eyes that always seem to study you as if she knows your every secret. She nudges your hand with her tiny pink nose and bursts into the perfect purr. This holiday season, be sure to keep your furry friends safe and happy with these simple tips. Avoid toxic foods such as chocolates, grapes, onions, and more, as these may be harmful for your cats and dogs, causing kidney damage. But be sure to check with their vet. In the meantime, stick to your pet's safe treats. Additionally, do not feed your pets table scraps. Table scraps often lack the proper balance of nutrients that cats and dogs need to maintain good health. Fatty, spicy, and citrusy foods like lemons, limes, and grapefruit can upset their stomachs. Next up, pet-proof your holiday decor. Secure fragile ornaments. Keep plants like poinsettias out of reach and never leave candles unattended. Your pets deserve a safe space to be comfortable. Create a quiet space for your pets to retrieve from the holiday noise and excitement. They deserve their own space to feel safe. Lastly, travel smart. I'm sure you want your pets to feel comfortable, so whether you're traveling to the park, beach, or even taking a road trip, use carriers, keep water handy, and double-check ID tags and microchips. Make this a joyful and safe holiday season for your whole family, including your pets.
Here's an important reason you need to avoid or limit alcohol consumption. The World Health Organization (WHO) indicates that there is research evidence of a direct link between several cancers and alcohol consumption as a major contributing factor. It's been cited as a major contributing fact for cancer of the breast, colorectal, esophagus, liver, mouth, throat or pharynx, and voice box or larynx. There is no safe level of alcohol consumption, and the more you consume, the greater your risk. Protect your health. Limit your alcohol intake. Save your life. For help and more information, call the National Council on Drug Abuse (NCDA) at 876-564-HELP. That's 876-564-4357.
Our half-hour journey through the pages of Jamaica Magazine ends right here for today. But please do join us again tomorrow on this same station for more news, features, and information you can use. In the meantime, visit our website at jis.gov.jm for this and other offerings. On behalf of the entire team here at the JIS, I am Adrian Atkinson. Until next time, happy holidays and lend a helping hand where you can in this time of need.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.